name is Sarah Peterson, and you're listening to an episode of MLM Marketing Explosion. Have you ever heard the phrase that life begins outside of your comfort zone? If you're truly going to have success in network marketing, you have got to be able to get comfortable in the uncomfortable zone.
How are network marketers like us supposed to rank, advance, and build a downline without begging our friends and family or having supermodel good looks? My mind was blown when I realized that the top network marketers aren't calling their friends and families to invite them to lame hotel meetings and in-home meetings. I've spent the last 2 years learning from and dissecting the system that top earners in the industry use. Follow me on the journey as I continue to learn and implement the top marketing tips and strategies to grow my downline. This is Sarah Peterson, and you're listening to MLM Marketing Explosion.
What are some things that you do daily? You shower, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, maybe you walk your dog, you eat. Do you have a set routine, a specific order that you like to do things in? How do you feel if you do things out of order or skip something that's part of your routine? Maybe without even realizing what you skipped, you just know that something feels off. Am I right? What happens when you try to add something to that routine or change things up? Do you like change? I know there have been times that I've jumped into bed at night because I was exhausted, and all of a sudden it was like, you forgot to do that thing, and you like to do that thing, right? And I'll sit in bed and I'll be like, no, I don't have to do it tonight. No, I don't have to do it tonight. It's okay. I can skip one night. Well, invariably, what do? I get up and I go do whatever it is that I forgot to do, right? Whether it was checking, to make sure the door was locked, because I always check to make sure the doors are locked before I go upstairs. Or, whatever it is that I forgot that I feel like I have to do, right? It's like, seriously, I'll lay in bed, and finally, by that point, it's like, I should have just done it 20 minutes ago. You knew you were going to do it anyway, right, Sarah? Yeah, that's how it goes for me, right? All right, so I have a child that doesn't like change at all. Like, not even a little bit. She does not like to do things out of order. She likes to have things done the way that she likes them done. Now, luckily, the story I'm about to tell you is something that she has actually grown out of. When she was little, she always had to have breakfast, lunch, dinner in that order. And she had to have 3 meals a day. It didn't matter what time she got up, she had to start with breakfast. So sometimes when she got up in the morning, for whatever reason, she would forget to eat, or she'd wake up a little bit late, but it didn't matter what time of day it was because she had to have breakfast. And usually that did, in fact, mean a bowl of cereal. Even if we were going to go out to lunch, it was like, well, I got to have breakfast really quick so we can go out to lunch. It was really crazy, a little bit quirky, but that was just her. She didn't like change. She knew that it was breakfast, lunch, dinner every single day. I've always loved theater, because I love the idea of being able to be something that I'm not. I get to pretend, I get to dress up for a little while, I get to live a life that I normally wouldn't get to live, and experiences that, I couldn't experience in real life. Well, for whatever reason, when I'd go to auditions, I'd be nervous, I'd be scared, but I could do it. Auditioning was fine, minus those nervous jitters, right? I was fine. When I got rejected for a role that I wanted, it made me feel bad that I didn't get the role, but I didn't feel like they were rejecting me personally. I knew it was just something that happens when you're an actor. And just because I wasn't right for that particular role didn't mean that I wasn't good at acting. So when I was performing on the stage, I was able to be vulnerable and real and raw because they weren't my situations, they weren't my emotions, it wasn't my story. They were just characters and I was playing them. So I wanted to be able to let people still see the real feelings behind this character, right? However, that same fearlessness and that confidence that I had on stage did not translate when I started building a network marketing business, especially because I was building a social media business online with a profile that was public, right? That was a little bit intimidating. It was daunting for me. I didn't necessarily know who was going to be seeing the things that I was posting because anybody could see it. And quite honestly, I was way more okay with strangers seeing them than I was with friends seeing them, because I knew I was going to see the friends in everyday life, right? I didn't know what to post. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to be real and raw, because if somebody criticized my posts, then they were criticizing me. My fears of how people were going to respond or the judgments that people would make paralyzed me from sharing my story. I was afraid of making mistakes or doing something and not having it come across the way that I had intended it to. Does that sound familiar? Have any of you guys ever felt that way? It's like, I tell you my story, but no, we're fine. We're just going to keep this all superficial. So I'd go to these MLM trainings and they would state that the fastest way to success was to share your story. I wasn't comfortable with that. I was not okay with that. I didn't feel like my story was good enough or was worthy of telling. When the economy crashed, our income and our lifestyle crashed too. So at this point in time, we'd experienced a major loss of income. you're facing foreclosure and a possible bankruptcy, and all of these things were going on. And the last thing that I wanted to do was to share that with anyone, right? It wasn't even anything that I talked about with my spouse. We avoided the conversation. We seriously avoided it like the plague. And my parents would call and ask, what was going on with it, and it was like, going on with what? Click. I definitely didn't want anyone else to know about it, right? I was afraid that it would prevent anybody from wanting to join with me. I thought that it made me look like I wasn't a great business person, and it made me look like I was a failure. I felt like a big failure. Well, the opposite was actually true. When I was able to finally share my story, it actually made me more relatable. People could identify with me, and I was now human. And now I was talking about stuff that maybe they weren't brave enough to talk about. Hopefully you have not gone through a foreclosure or a bankruptcy. Hopefully you don't have any idea what that feels like. However, maybe you've experienced your own challenges. Maybe it was the loss of a spouse or a child or a parent, or the loss of a job or a divorce, or just something that didn't quite work out the way that you thought and hoped that it would. But when you share that story, your story, and your experiences with people are going to relate to it. And they're going to relate to something that happened in their own life, even if it's not the same experience. Everybody has dealt with some trial or difficulty in life. Everybody has. Consequently, when they hear your story and see your journey, and that you were able to take something that was tragic or didn't work out the way that you'd hoped, well, you were able to turn it into something amazing and wonderful. And now they have hope that in the future they're going to be able to turn their situation as well. And you now inspire other people because you did it. They can do it too. If you can do it, then they can do it too. So now, instead of them being jealous of your success, they're going to become your biggest fan. They're going to root for you, and they're going to cheer you on. And that's why it's also important to tell your story from the beginning. Don't wait until you become that person or that big shot or the person who has it all made, because that's not relatable. Let them share that whole journey with you along the way. Let them be part of your journey. Well, maybe you're actually worried that you haven't had what you consider to be a big pivotal turning point in your life. That make it or break it moment in your life. Maybe you are digging the well before you're thirsty. Even if that's the case, there was in fact a reason why you started building your MLM business. What was it that you wanted? Did you want that extra money to be able to go eat out occasionally? Did you want the extra money for a vacation? Did you like hanging out with the people in the company? Were your friends all doing it, so you wanted to do it too? What was the reason that you wanted to do network marketing? Start telling that story. Are you scared to death to share your story? Well, the only way to conquer fear is by taking action. Unfortunately, that fear can become so big that it paralyzes you and causes you not to take any action at all, right? Anybody ever been in that boat? Therefore, you get stuck in that vicious cycle, right? Make sure you come back tomorrow as I share some of my ideas to help you overcome your fears of taking action. If you've gotten any value with this, please go ahead and share it with a friend. Also, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Are you tired of bugging your family and friends and bumping into the same people all over social media trying to pitch your opportunity? If so, grab your team members and go to www.marketingexplosion.org and pick up your free copy of MLM Momentum. It's going to teach you how to get people coming to you and applying for your opportunity. It's also going to teach you how to get paid for prospecting. See you soon.